Okay, this is going to be a follow-up review of this maxtra 16-foot extended reach pole saw. I bought this thing a couple of years ago. The first time I used it, everything went fairly well. The second time I used it, however, the shafts twisted off. So it was out of warranty, but I got a hold of Maxtra and they replaced the pole saw. They wouldn't send the shafts, they would just send the whole pole. That's the reason why I got all of these poles. But from the first time this thing was a year old to the time I got the second pole, it was over a year had passed. So it would seem if they had issues with the pole saw, they would have repaired it. But no, that's not the case with this Chinese company. But either way, I put the new pole saw together, went out to the old oak trees, and lo and behold, the first time I used it, it failed. As you can see, the one shaft snapped completely off and the other one twisted and was fixing to go. This happened throughout the whole entire length of the pole saw. They all twisted just like this, except for the very end that got stuck into the head. Okay, I contacted Maxtra and told them they had issues with the clearance in the way these pole saws are made, the shafts. The material in this pole saw is probably a very low grade steel, maybe a 1001, whatever it is. The steel is not up to take the abuse that this chainsaw can put out. I have no qualms over the engine. People will have issues with the engine because they don't understand how to work on them. Some might be in the mountains, some might be on the seacoast. All the engines have to be adjusted. But the problem is this slack in this shaft and the couplings is to the point where it creates a hammer effect. And it just sits there and beats itself back and forth every time one of these teeth crosses a cut. So I got in touch with them again, and they wanted to send me another shaft. I said, well, 3 strikes and you're out. I said, I want my money back for the pole saw. They vehemently refused, so I said, well, I'll just go ahead and write a YouTube video, which I did put up. I'll show you the link at a later time. But just to show you how bad this is, this is the shaft, and this is going to be the bearing. All right. If I get this thing steady. Okay. The problem is with this thing is look how much slop is in this thing. And there's a lot of slop back and forth. I measured the slop in this thing to be right at 30 thousandths in the spline. The spline for this particular size and everything should be 1 to 6 thousandths at the most. Okay, I make guitars, so I do have a machine shop. All right, it took me a while to make the second video because, like I say, I build guitars and don't have time. Plus, I had to buy some stuff to retool to do these splines. But either way, this is the way that this thing is supposed to fit. This thing is supposed to fit just like this. Absolutely no slack in it whatsoever at all. No wobble in it whatsoever at all. Now I'm holding the other one with my hand, but there's absolutely no wobble, no play. This is a slip fit. I'm going to say it's probably 2, maybe 3 thousandths on the fit, but it fits tight on the spline, so it cannot rock back and forth. So therefore, it cannot do a hammer effect and twist these splines. Also, this shafting is 304 stainless. I could have used 316, but 316 can get hard to machine if you overheat it, but the 304 is more machinable, and it's way stronger than a 1001 mild steel rod. So I don't expect to have any issues with this rod at all. This one here is a tad bit bigger because it's a US 5/16. The one they use is actually about an 8 millimeter. It's only a few thousandths difference, but the quality of the rod is what matters. So, all said and done, if you would have a machine shop make these shafts for this thing, you're probably going to spend about $300, plus that 12-foot piece of material right there runs about $30, or roughly about $2 a foot. So I highly suggest don't walk away from this pole saw, run, because those people lie. They say they have no problems with these things, but yet you can go on the internet and find problems with these things. And I will post some of the picture of someone that bought these things from Amazon, and the same thing is happening. And also a couple of the emails they sent me. Anyway, like I say, like the Venture said, you need to run, don't walk. Okay, this is a continuation of the first video I made in 2023 with this maxtra extended reach pole saw. You can see this original review at this address on YouTube. It'll show you some of the things that I had cut with it, pictures of the trees, various different things. I think you'll find it interesting, a necessary look-see before you happen to decide to buy one of these. All right, I promised you some emails. All right, here is an email from them, and it basically reads, "Hi Buster, kindly note that we do not provide checks. Sorry about that. PayPal and bank transfer are the only two ways we can issue a refund to you. Also, please confirm whether you're requesting a total of $374 refund. Resolve this issue as well. Once we get your reply, we will process the next step accordingly." Well, some of this conversation is spilled over from others. Originally, they were wanting to get my bank account numbers, and that's not going to happen. They don't need bank account numbers, nor do they need PayPal to refund my money. The problem is they can send a certified check, and in there, in the previous segments, I had told them that I was going to make my own shafts, and here's an estimate that I had given them. Okay, the hours of programming, if you're going to do CNC, it would be about $150 to program. The setup just to set the tooling up in the machine is about $120 an hour, and the hours to make the runtime is at $100 an hour running. So, also the average cost of hardened drill rod is not on the cheap side, about $4 a foot. I used 304 at $2 a foot, and if they wanted to check these prices, feel free. It's free there on the internet for them to see. But the thing of it is, we can see where this is going, in that the cost of the defective design manufactured saw is less than what I paid for the saw. So to repair the saw is more than what the saw is actually worth. So that fault lies on them. Okay, I'm going to show you another little email. And this email comes back after I had replied to that one, and it says, "Hi Buster, we have confirmed that other guests have not encountered the same issues, and even if they had, we would have been pleased to fix it. Please kindly let us know the refund method which you will accept. And the refund that you requested is $612, right?" I didn't request anything. They upped that ante for me to take down the first video that I put. But I was not to be bought out. My whole goal in this is not to force a company into changing anything, because they're in China. Who can change anything in China? Shoot, the American government can't. But either way, they were trying to buy me out. All right. Now, they say this hasn't been happening. Okay, you can go on the internet and you can find anything. This is just one example of the one I found, and it comes from Amazon. And it basically says, "I decided to take a chance and purchase this pole saw. Of course, it is of a name brand that I had never heard of, and claims of one that had a half horsepower seemed to be a possible sales pitch. Actually, the saw has more than a half a horsepower. So out of the box, it assembles easy. I fueled it up, plugged the whole saw section together, and assembled the chainsaw head, oiled the reservoir and the chainsaw, and greased the head. Then I fumbled with the on and off starter switch, which truthfully seems a little flimsy, but seemed to actually operate okay. With the prime in a little choke, this motor started right up and idled nicely. After dropping about 20 nice pieces of limb from a nice height, I had consumed only about a third tank, and all of a sudden it seemed as if the chain had jumped off the cutting board. Upon inspection, I realized that the chain was still intact and spinning freely. However, the motor was no longer driving the cutting head. I disassembled the head from the shaft, and as the picture shows, the shaft was twisted clean off in all the sockets. Okay, this is just one example. One example. Like I say, I found 2 or 3 of them on the internet showing that they have issues. Now, this issue has been going on for a long time, and they do not want to do anything about it. And they will vehemently try to not uphold their warranty. That's the reason why I say you run from this. Don't walk away from this pole saw. You run away from this pole saw. Unless they can prove to me that they have a better quality control and make improvements to make this pole saw a viable unit, I'd stick with a name brand like Echoes, Honda, and Husqvarna, and things like this. This Maxtra, it is not no name brand. Matter of fact, if you look at Maxtra's brand across all the things that they do make, they seem to have a high fail rate. So it's not a reputable company to begin with. Anyway, I hope this helped you making your decision before you buy this unit. I sure wouldn't recommend it.